Hello everyone, I am Yav once again to talk Australian Survivor Season 2, Episode 5, back in 2017, and I am joined with...
Michael, so nice to meet you all. So happy to be here.
Awesome. I forgot to also introduce myself. My name is Xander, and this is the Survivor Sim podcast. Sorry guys, we had some technical difficulties from my last live stream, so that's probably why I just forgot to introduce
Yeah, we
myself.
did.
Anyways, so we are back to talk
Mm.
Australian Survivor, or I'm back. Michael hasn't been here before, but maybe. So, Michael, give us some of your background for Survivor. How did you get into it? Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, so I think I first started watching when I was around 10, or at least that's when I can remember the series. And I actually watched it with my grandpa because he watched it. He was obsessed. And then the show came to Australia because I was watching the American version first. And then I was obsessed. I've been watching every single Australian Survivor. The season we're rewatching, I think I was only 12. So a lot of opinions will change, and I don't really remember heaps of the episodes from it. So yeah, can't wait to dive in.
Awesome. So I've asked you this last time, but because it got cut out, who are you rooting for? What tribe? Who do you like? Who do you dislike? Was it a good episode?
Awesome. I think it was actually a good episode. It had everything in a great episode that I need. It had a great challenge. It had decent gameplay, decent strategy, some good little confessionals. That's the word from the contestants. So that was amazing. I do know more about the Samatar tribe because they've been to tribal council more. So I'll start from there. So from that tribe, the top three for me would be AK. He knows the game. He's very funny. I love his confessionals, so I'm definitely rooting for him. Annalise, I think she's amazing. She's got an amazing personality. I think she's got really good potential. She's really social. And then Lockie as well. He's kind of seen as the leader at this stage. He is the most athletic as well. But I like that, and I really hope he can do far. So that's my top three from that tribe. And then from the Asaga tribe, I'm loving Michelle. She's quite smart, I feel, and I think she'll be an underdog for the season. I also like Jericho. He is just hilarious. He did something pretty funny in this episode, which we'll hopefully get into. And then also Odette. I think she's really cool, and I hope she can go far. So they're my top three for each. And people I dislike, I don't think I actually dislike anyone yet. It's too early to say. So fingers crossed that those six can go far.
Juicy. And you don't dislike anyone. How boring. We want no, no, you're good. Okay. So, yeah, let's
Yeah,
definitely start to talk
we
about
will
what
get
happened
there,
this
I
episode.
promise.
Oh, I know. Okay, so to start off with, we come back from tribal council, and Summercow. What are they doing?
I
like,
don't know.
like I don't know if they're throwing challenges or if they genuinely just like I don't. Who first of all, whoever made the tribes, you would like honestly, they look. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Summertown does look a lot weaker, like just from like a first from looking at their tribes. But yeah, I don't know, but whatever. I think for
Yeah.
me, we go to well, nothing really happens on Summertown. Let's be honest. It's just that 8 person. Well, the Misfit Alliance, you want to call it. That's what the episode calls it, with pretty much everyone
Yes.
minus Tessa. And yeah, I feel bad for Tessa at this point. Every person she gets close to just gets
Yes.
eliminated. like, that's devastating.
Yes, I feel really bad for her. She's on the outs. Yeah.
Every day, it's just, oh, Tessa, you're in danger. Oh, no, your last friend went home. Like, the start of the episode is her literally saying, my last friend at camp went home. I feel that's horrible.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
feel
know.
terrible for her. Like, it's been rough at the start of her game.
Oh my god. I need to know. Okay, for Asuna, now you guys might be wondering what's happening on Asuna. Asuna is way, like, they're so interesting. The dynamics on Asuna, I personally love. You've got Henry and
Mm,
Jackie, this duo who have, well, Henry has an idol, but Jackie knows about it. So she could blackmail him. She could, I don't know, whatever, hypothetical, right? You got Kent, who's
yeah.
kind of like the third wheel to them.
Well, that's
You've
right.
got
You never know what's gonna happen.
exactly. You've got Mark and Sam, power
Mm,
couple,
yep.
snuggle buddies. Like, and to be fair, everyone was crapping on Sam during the episode, like the other contestants, because she was like hugging Mark. If Mark was next to me in the shelter, I would
Yeah.
hug that man. You know how warm that dude is? At night, it is freezing cold. The last thing I'm worried
Yeah.
about, like, I get it. If you're cold at night, you're gonna be huddling next to some, because that's what you do in the shelter, right? You're laying next to each other like this the entire night. Like,
Yeah.
I don't blame
They're
her,
all really
but like,
close.
yeah, maybe don't be public about it. But I mean, what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, we can definitely talk about the moment you
Yeah.
wanted to
Couldn't
talk
agree
about,
more.
Michael, which was Jericho. Oh my god, this dude, he's great.
Yes. Jericho.
Like him and
So,
you, like, what is happening?
yeah.
Do you want to
Oh, it
talk
was
about that,
just
Michael?
hilarious. Jericho gets his cookie. Oh, yes, definitely. Let's get into it. So Jericho, he did he win or did he find the cookie jar? Because I didn't watch the episodes previously. I'm
He
gonna be
walked
honest.
into he walked into so at the well, the well where people go into to like get like water and stuff.
Yeah.
He went to the well, and then it was like sitting
Yeah.
on like the well or some on like a table or something, and it was like have the option between this or bring
Yeah.
back firewood for your tribe. And obviously, Jericho is
Mm.
a cookie monster, so of course he went for the cookies. So yeah,
He
exactly
is.
right. And
Yep.
I said this last
Yeah.
time. Anyone who doesn't
So
take the
good.
cookies, like, what is wrong with you? No shade to Tarzan, but like, I would
Mm.
not. I would grab those
Mm.
cookies. All right, like I'm a
Mhm.
selfish asshole, but I want those cookies. But
I
yeah,
mean, you're
no,
gonna be so hungry, so you just want as much food as you can.
100%. I think it's interesting because Jericho this episode used a strategy we don't really normally see in Survivor,
Mm.
which is like negotiation. Like,
It's not a common strategy.
and what I mean by that is, like, he kind of was like, Luke, I'm gonna hand you this cookie to make us friends. Sarah, I'm gonna hand you a cookie to make us friends. Henry, like, to me, first of all, it's extremely
Mm.
ballsy that he did it with multiple people. I think doing it with more than two people is risky. And the only reason I say it's risky is because obviously, if someone tells someone else, one, your cookies could get stolen, which that's way more important than your game. Come
Yeah.
on, guys. No, jokes aside. And two, like
Yeah.
your game could get exposed. So, but that's worst case scenario. Obviously, it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it will impact the season later on. Maybe it won't.
Yeah.
Guess we'll find out. But I thought that
Yeah.
was interesting. I also just, I don't know,
Yeah.
just the scenes of Jericho eating, like, amazing, perfect.
It
I need to
was,
know,
like,
Michael, what do
never a
you?
boring moment with Jericho.
Oh, I know. Michael, what do you think about Osana and the cookies?
Yeah. I think it's, I think it's very interesting. It's hilarious. It shows Jericho's funny side, his great personality. I think it was a good move because he brought in Luke, who has similar personality to him, and they bonded straight away. And Luke's the first one he went to with the cookies, and they had probably the most. And then, so I thought that was very clever. He made a real good bond. And then, yes, it is risky that he went to Sarah and Henry. However, there's no signs of that cracking or his game being exposed yet. So until I see that, I think it's a good move, and he's got some good allies. There's 11 left for that tribe, so he will need 6 to get majority. But he is pretty social, so I don't doubt his ability. So I think it was a good move. Let's just hope it doesn't backfire.
Yes, let's hope not. What do you think about Asana, like their tribe dynamics?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Their first vote was very much challenge dependent. It was a tie between Joan and Kent, and Joan was the one that went. So it's pretty obvious that they're gonna keep it that way, or that's what a viewer would assume. It is fair enough. It is a bit kind of boring, but there's no huge divisions yet. Everyone seems to be getting along. I think it's a good tribe. They're very strong physically because they've bet the other team so many times in a row now. Like, they're actually killing it. But I want to see it get spiced up, and I reckon Jericho might be the person to do that. So I'm hoping it can be a bit more spicy, and I want Kent to have a chance. So we'll see.
Well, if we're talking about spicy, let's talk about Henry throwing the immunity challenge and it not working. What? I will say this
That was
forever.
spicy.
Pre-merge, never. Well, pre-swap, pre-merge, I'm a strong believer. Don't throw an immunity challenge. One of the biggest mistakes I see in Survivor history is someone throwing an immunity challenge when they barely know the people they're on a tribe with, and just shit goes wrong. Like, don't do that. But I mean, hey,
Yeah.
it didn't work, so that's
Yep.
good. But yeah,
Lucky. Thank goodness.
I also just, it's weird for me because, like, on one hand, from an entertaining standpoint, it's obviously like really good television. But from like another perspective of like gameplay wise, it's like, Henry, you are literally trying to get rid of someone in Sam and Mark who want to work with you. I don't understand. I like, because he's like, oh, they're a power
That's
couple.
right.
Henry, you and Jackie are a power couple. What do you? That is not a good pitch. Like,
Yep.
let's say they get rid of Mark and Sam hypothetically. It's like, okay, well, who's the next biggest couple? You and Jackie. You're like, I don't get it, but like, I could go on a whole rant about what's best for each of these people's games, and then would be here for 7 hours.
That's what I was going to say, yep.
I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah.
I also thought it was interesting that, like, Sarah is kind of playing both sides as well, like her positioning, where, like, she's saying to Jackie and Henry, oh, yes, I'm so close to you, and then she's also going to Sam and being like, people are kind of saying your name, but like isn't giving like the full detail of it, which, I mean, I don't know if it's a good move or not for Sarah. I guess we'll find out. But what did you think about that?
We will.
What did you think about that?
Yeah, I think that it's smart at this stage because when you first go into a tribe and you start the game, you want to make sure you've got good connections with everyone. So I think she's doing a really great job of that with, you know, building character, building these friendships. It is a bit risky though, because you don't want to get caught out. If she gets caught out and people realize that she's saying one thing to the other alliance and then it comes back, she could be in trouble. They might start doubting her loyalty and she might need to pick a side, or both alliances might just get rid of her. So she's got to be careful, but I think it's still early days. So I think she won't need to worry about that until it gets a bit closer. But I do think that Mark and Sam, they are kind of viewed as, a bit of a power couple. So to lower their threat level, I think they might need to stop making it so obvious. But then again, it is editing, so I don't know if the producers make it seem that way more on purpose. But I think they just need to be careful. You don't want to make it look like you're hanging out with one person more than everyone else. So if they're going to stay longer, they've just got to be a bit more mindful, in my opinion. Yeah.
I agree, but also I have a question for you. What do you define as early days? Because at this point, they've been out there for over a week. So I'm just curious what you define as early days. Just to the audience. Like,
okay. Yeah. So basically what I mean when I say early days, I do mean it from a audience perspective. I don't necessarily mean actual days. I just mean like vote offs basically. So I'd say early days is definitely the first 6 eliminations, and then you do your little tribe swap. And then I'd say that's still maybe 3 votes after tribe swap. You're still in the early days, in my opinion. So I reckon once 9 are eliminated, that would be the period of early days. And then I'm just trying to think what 24 take 9 is. So when there's 14 people, that's when the game starts heating up. Yeah. So that's what I mean. The first 9 eliminations is early days, because that's when you're trying to build those connections. And then after that, you really see strategic play. Yeah.
Okay, good. I was just wondering, because I was personally curious what you meant by that, but all good. I need to know, Michael, are you loyal to the 8-person alliance on Summertown? Are you 8 strong?
No, I think that's a bit ridiculous. It's a bit shocking because 8 people is quite a lot of people. That only leaves 4 on the bottom. And I think if you did have a majority in a 12, it would make sense to have a 7, because then you can get rid of the most amount of people as you want and you still have majority in a 7. But then even if you're in, so they're in 8, right? Even if they're in an 8, I would want to make sure that there's a separate majority in that 8. So like a group of 5, for example. And being like, oh, kumbaya, it's a bit strange. Like, they need to be careful. And I think AK has started to realize that. He's like, well, I might be on the bottom of this 8-person alliance. And I agree. You've got to be careful in this game. You don't just want to be sitting back in an alliance and not analyzing when your time's going to be next. So I would not be part of it. It is too risky. I don't think an 8-person alliance is very realistic.
I think another thing to talk about is that people's motives in the game. Like, why are people making the decisions that they are? And also, if I remove a certain person from the game, how are the other people who are still in the game going to respond to that? So, let's say I vote your friend out. How are you still gonna want me out? Or you know what I mean? How are you going to respond to me getting rid of someone you're close with if I don't vote you out? So I think people need to start thinking about what other people are thinking about as well. And here I am talking about King George's book from Australian Survivor, but it does make a good point where it's you need to understand other people's motives. I need to know.
Yeah,
okay,
that's a really good point, because at the end of the
we
day,
go to the mini challenge, and I just, of course, Summertown users, obviously. You guys think they're gonna win? No.
they do.
Their
Poor
faces,
Summertown.
they look. AK kicking the post at the end. He was pissed.
They're on a losing streak.
And there's a point I will bring up about
It
Yoki later
was.
on.
It was just
But
the look of defeat in their whole team.
Yeah, the look at the fear in their eyes was devastating.
Yeah.
I also thought it was interesting how Tessa was like, "Oh, I'm probably going home again." It's like, Tessa, I swear we get the same confessionals from you every episode. It's like, "Oh, Tessa's going home. Oh, she's not going home."
I completely agree.
But yeah, I don't know. So we see AK.
Yeah, it's very repetitive.
We see AK pull Tessa aside and be like, Tess, guess what? And she's like, what? And he's like, we're gonna flip. And she's like, wait, what? She's like, oh my god, I have life in this game.
She was so excited.
I mean, fair enough. At this point, she's been on the bottom for
Yep.
like
She was
a long
pumped,
time.
and I was so
So
happy to see that.
understandable. And also, good job for her for still fighting, Like, some people give up when they, like, shit isn't going their way. So I'm
Mhm.
happy that we don't have many
Yeah.
people who are giving up. Hello, are you
Yeah.
frozen again?
Exactly, I'm really happy about that.
Oh, good. I thought you were frozen again. Anyways.
No.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, AK goes
All
to
good.
Ziggy. Ziggy and AK today. Well, in the episode, we're like, so, is it time to flip on the 8? Yeah, I think it's time. I agree. We see AK, Ziggy, and Jared are a tight trio.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm a bit confused what makes them a tight trio, because
Yep.
normally they're supposed to have, like, stuff in common.
Yep.
I wish the show had showed us a bit more, especially because,
Yeah.
like, we've been
Yeah,
on
that's right. It
Summertown
was a
has
bit
lost.
random.
Yeah, Summertown has lost multiple challenges in a row, and only this episode is when we're hearing, "Oh, they're tight." Like, what? They're tight? Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
We
instead it
needed
was
more
just
background information, yeah.
yeah, instead it was just like, "Oh, these people are, like, in the massive alliance, whatever." Like, that was their whole personality. Like, they didn't have anything outside of it. So I was like,
Yep.
Okay. Jesus. I'm sorry, guys, got something in my throat. But yeah, no. I think that,
Yeah.
and then also, they pull Tessa aside. They're like, okay, we have 4. We need to get 1 more. What do we think about them trying to pull Peter to the side?
Mm.
What do you think about that? Was that a good decision? Like, obviously, knowing what happens later on, it probably was a good decision, but like,
Oh, yeah, it's
go on.
yeah. I think it was an interesting decision because so they're obviously limited in numbers right now. So there's 9. So yeah, you're right. They need 5. I think if I'm looking at all the contestants, I do think it was a good move going to Peter. I think Peter actually understands the game more than what they're leading on, like the producers. I reckon he knows the game pretty well. And I think them going up to him and explaining this was a great idea. And he jumped on board and agreed. And I think he's a great ally. I wouldn't really trust him all the way because I still feel like he'll be in the middle. And especially now that they're down to 8, that's even numbers. So he's going to be called out if they go back there again. So yeah, we'll see. But I think it was a smart move.
For Peter's game, was it a smart move? Because I don't think it was. Like, okay, here's the thing. I'm not going to say what happens during the season, but from Peter's perspective, where we are in the game right now, I don't think it was a good move. Because in Peter's, from Amy and Yoki and Tara and Peter's perspectives, right? Okay, the other side, they're an alliance of 4. They said it in the episode. And Anais is kind of their 5th. As opposed, so Peter is at least 4th in the pecking order, at least on this side. On the other side, he is guaranteed number 5. Does that make sense? Would you rather be number 4 in the pecking order or number 5? I would rather be number 4 in the pecking order than number 5. So I don't get that. And we have technical difficulties again. Hopefully he will rejoin. Anyways, guys, I will continue talking about this episode. So yeah, that's just the thing that confused me, because my main thing was like I don't really understand why Peter's like, because Peter was like, I need to separate Tara, Yoki, and Amy from each other. It's like, Peter, you're literally with them. Like, I don't understand that, but it's all right. I think another thing to talk about is like from the whole possibly blindsiding Yoki perspective. We got a confessional from AK saying, I want Yoki gone, but I'm not going to vote Yoki out because Yoki is someone who's good at challenges. AK, you guys have lost at this point 4 immunity challenges in a row, and you are concerned about challenges. What if you just keep using AK? That is not a good pitch for me. AK, like, I get it, but like, he's so focused on like not voting someone off based on challenges. But you guys have lost 4 times. Challenges should not be relevant to the conversation. You should not be keeping someone in at this point in the game due to challenges if your tribe just sucks at winning immunity. Like, I'm sorry, and I know that's like kind of weird, but anyways. Hey guys, just technical difficulties. We are back. Hello, Michael. I was just explaining to them how the pecking order, how if I was Peter, I would not be it just because I think he would be number 5 on AK's side, like in his alliance, as opposed to
Hello.
4th.
Sorry.
Did you hear what I said? I think he would be number 5 within AK's alliance as opposed to number 4 in his own alliance with Yoki, Tara, and Amy. And I also think, which I said when it cut out, that it's weird to me that AK cares so much about challenges, considering their tribe has lost 4 immunity challenges. AK's logic for keeping Yoki around is, we need to win challenges. You guys keep using. If you keep using, what relevance does it have if you win immunity? Like, it's not like they've lost 1 or 2.
Yeah, but that's right. It's confusing.
They've lost 4 times.
I don't get it.
4 times. That's literally 1/3 of their tribe gone. Like, and like that just didn't make sense to me. So I think it's also Amy probably had the least connections, and I did hear from an interview that I saw. It was a while ago, so I don't know how what's the word, like how real it is, or I guess how truthful the information is from that interview. But like from what I saw, I guess Amy had the least connections to Peter, which is why Peter felt more comfortable to vote her off as opposed to someone else. Because as we saw, Peter was like, oh, Amy's too close to Yoki, which to me shows that Peter wants Yoki around, but he doesn't want Amy around. And that's what I got from the conversation. Maybe you interpreted that differently, but that's what I got. Sorry about that. What do you think about all that? Do you understand where I'm coming from, or does that not make sense?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do agree. And again, this is just another situation where the 8 alliance is just so silly because there's always going to be people down. And like, if they're in an 8, surely there's going to be people worried. Like, I think they might be in a bit delusional headspace to not realize that people get voted off. You know, your time's going to come. Like, you better make sure you're on top, not down there on the chopping block. So they've got to be careful. And yeah, it is interesting how AK kept Lockie or got rid of that plan because of the challenges, which makes, again, no sense. They've lost 4. They're not getting any better.
If you keep using,
so that's really strange to me, but
that's my logic.
We'll see if it pays off in the end.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. I think another thing to talk about is like, what do we think about Yoki, Amy, Anais, and Tara trying to vote AK off? Obviously,
Exactly.
I think it was the right move because obviously AK went rogue and then
Yeah.
tried to
They
get
could make a
Amy
big
out.
move. Yeah.
Well, I say tried to get Amy out, but did get Amy
Yeah.
out. So like, yeah, obviously everyone was saying it's a strong eight, it's a strong eight, and then at tribal, Amy just openly says, "Oh, it's not a strong eight. It's been dead for days." Like, I just loved
I
everyone's.
was gobsmacked. When I rewatched it, I didn't actually remember how intense that was when I was 12. And when I rewatched it, I was like, oh my goodness, she's being so blunt. She was just smiling through it as well. Like it is a bit of her personality, but at the same
Are we cutting out again? I don't know. Hopefully not. Okay, I guess he's cutting out again. Hopefully this isn't a constant issue during the Yipes, guys, but we'll see. But as Michael was probably saying, like, I agree, I do think it was kind of weird how, like, everyone was just kind of, like, I mean, their facial reactions were funny, don't get me wrong, but it was also just like, ugh. Like, if you're gonna beyonce someone, that is like the worst thing you can say right before a vote. But as you guys saw, when the votes were being read, AK didn't look worried, and AK knew that Amy was going home because one of the way Jonathan read the votes, which was 4 votes AK and then 5 votes Amy, which in that case he always does it that way. And second, like just the way that I mean, obviously, AK knew that his name was out there because Peter, someone who was trying to vote AK off, and Tessa, and Jared, and Ziggy would have told AK, hey, Yoki's crew was trying to vote you off, or Tara's crew, whoever's perspective you want to say. They're trying to vote you off in a blind side, but yeah, obviously that's not happening. So, I don't know. I really am. I honestly really do love the dynamics from both tribes. I think for the first 5 episodes, like minus the first, Michael is back, guys. Technical difficulties once again. But for the episodes, I genuinely do think the dynamics on both tribes are interesting. But anyways, Michael, back to what you were saying about how
sorry.
funny it was that Amy basically just said, "Oh yeah, the answer's dead."
Yeah. It was hilarious. It was definitely part of her personality. She's a hilarious person. She's upfront, honest, and I love that about her. But in a game of Survivor, and especially Tribal Council, that is not what you do. Like Survivor 101, you do not blow things up at Tribal unless you're, on the bottom or you're making a statement. You don't do that. So the fact she did that was kind of bearing her own hole. It was true what she said.
I mean, personally, she was spewing, so you know. I don't know what's up with Michael's internet today, everyone. I apologize. But anyways, Tara is just oh wow. I still love Tara and Tess's rivalry, even if it is kind of not one-sided, but you guys know, like going around. So, what is gonna happen with this season? I have no idea. No, obviously I know what happens. I've seen this season. Hopefully, don't worry, guys. The stream will end in like a minute. Hopefully, depending if Michael comes back or not. I don't know. If I'm gonna say some of my personal favorites right now, some of my favorites would be, yes, AK. Obviously, he's kind of like the male version of Phoebe from season one, which I don't want to spoil what happens in season one, but you know. I would say I definitely find Peter interesting. I am a bit confused why people seem to think he's not really playing the game Because from my perspective, just looking at Peter, I'd be like, oh yeah, he's a fan, 100%. Ziggy, I mean, or Nicola, she's literally an Olympian. I don't know how it went from 7 to 8 because remember, everyone, she was originally at the bottom of Adam. She was in Adam's Alliance, but yet she was the only one who kind of got a free pass. So I thought that was it. I thought that was interesting because it's like Kate didn't get free pass, Tussin didn't get free pass, Tessa didn't get free pass, and my voice is cutting out, as you guys can hear. Michelle, I think the problem with Michelle is that, well, not the problem with Michelle. I think Michelle has a lot of control on the singer, as we've seen, just because like she did push the young vote to start off with, and she has connections, and she's not really attached to anyone as well, so she can kind of feel for the most part, which is obviously a really important thing. Hello, welcome back. Say what you were saying.
Hello. Yes, I think that Amy basically just blew everything up with her 8, and she said it in front of Tribal. And if she thought there was cracks then, oh, trust me, there's more now because she just exposed it. So I don't know what she was thinking. It was great as an audience member to watch, but yeah, very silly move.
Wait, Michael, you're telling me that if someone said your alliance isn't loyal, you would want to betray them? Why not? Why would you betray them? I would be loyal. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, Michael, do you have any final words about this episode? Or predictions as well? Shoot your predictions since you're rewatching.
Ooh, there was a lot of things that I saw that I didn't remember. Like I didn't remember how iconic the cookie scenes were, and then when Jericho was sprinkling the crumbs on the other people sleeping, that was hilarious. I did not remember that.
That was messed up. That was so cruel.
That was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Can you imagine being
it was funny in half,
waking up to
and
all those crumbs?
I didn't remember how. Yeah, I'd be so annoyed. Tessa is on the bottom a lot, and I didn't remember that when I first watched it. I literally had no idea. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know she went through that much. So that's a bit of a shock to me. I forgot how much Amy blew things up at Tribal, which was hilarious. Apart from that, nothing else really stood out to me because the earlier episodes are a bit more, I guess, boring. It was still a great episode, but there's just not heaps to say. Like there was no idol plays. Yes, the Tribal was good, and I was happy with the votes. Have you told the audience yet who went home?
I mean, I feel like we kind of have said that, haven't we? Or if we haven't, we'll say it now. Amy went home in a blindside.
Yeah.
5-4, as I said.
Yeah.
AK, Jared, Ziggy,
yes,
Tessa,
it was 5-4.
And Peter, who ended up flipping, voted Amy out. So that's why we were discussing if it was a good move for Peter or not, because I don't know. I think that's definitely a topic to talk about. I don't remember Jared being as good of a game player as he was, but yeah, his strategy, I was like, you know what, Jared, like you're a better player than I remember you being. So good job, Jared. But anyways, thank you.
Yeah, go Jared.
And till next time, and Michael, if you ever want to come back, hit me up. You have my socials. So yeah. Peace out, everyone. Oh, and if anyone wants to podcast with me, comment down below. I'm always looking for more podcast co-hosts. So peace out. And then we wave at the camera. Yeah.